Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and just get started chatting about our webinar today. So give me just a second here. Hopefully you all can see me on the big screen. My name is Laura Rice, and I work here at the Champaign Public Library, and I want to welcome you to this evening's webinar. This is Crafty Adults, Cookies and Canvases. So every year we host a Cookies and Canvases, which is our version of like a paint and sip party, except for you have cookies, and we're going to do some painting today. Crafty Adults, if you haven't attended before, is a series that we host here at the library. We host different artists, sometimes myself, and we teach you a different creative project that can usually be completed within about an hour. Sometimes a little longer, like today's. We've got 2 hours allotted for this craft. So I'm excited. I'm excited for you all to get painting today. Some other Crafty Adults classes that we've had are, we've done macrame, we've done candle making, we've done collage. One time we even taught people how to make their own kombucha. So we like to get outside of the box and kind of expand what that creative project is. So we're always looking for suggestions, and you can always feel free to let us know if you have a suggestion for a Crafty Adults in the future. Tonight, we're going to be painting with acrylic paint, and we are hosting a local artist, Kinsey Fitzgerald, and she's here with us at the library now. And she's going to teach us how to create an enchanting lunar painting. So we're very excited to have Kinsey. She is a local artist here living in Urbana, and I'm excited for you to meet her, and I think you're all going to have a lot of fun in this class. Tonight, we're going to be practicing mixing paint. We're going to be practicing blending the paint, and we're also going to learn how to paint the faces of the moon. So I think we're going to have a lot covered in this class today. So I don't want to spend too much more time doing an introduction, but I want to talk to you all about how the webinar is going to be facilitated. So here at Crafty Adults, we will be using the chat feature primarily. If you have comments, questions, or just anything you want to add. We miss the social aspect of this class being in person. So we encourage you to chat with us and share your thoughts as you're painting. It's a really important piece of this whole series. So you also have the option to raise your hand, and if you'd like to do that, we will unmute you, and you can feel free to ask your question aloud to the group. We're fine with either option, whichever one suits you is fine with us. But we really do encourage you to be social. That is a big piece of this class. And then finally, at the end of the webinar, we'll carve out a little bit of time to allow people to share their paintings with the class. So for that, what we'll do, we'll kind of alert you to when that time is coming, but we'll ask for anyone who wants to share their painting to raise their hand, and we will try to get to as many people as possible. You'll be able to turn your camera on and show everyone what you have painted tonight. So very excited that we're able to offer this class today. I want to encourage you all to ask questions, talk to us through the chat, and we're going to go ahead and get started with our webinar. I'm going to pass the mic, so to speak, over to Kinsey, and she's going to get us started, and we're going to talk about the supplies that you all have in your kits or supplies that you have gathered from home if you did not get a kit from the library. So Kinsey, I'm going to get your viewpoint here spotlit for everybody, and you'll go ahead and take it away.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Laura, and thank you so much, Trisha, for being on the chat. Hi, everybody. My name is Kinsey, and we're going to be painting some wonderful moons phases, and we have some good options of colors even. Feel free to be creative and do in whatever color you would like, and I'm happy to answer questions. Let's jump in. I'm so happy and excited, so I'm ready to get right back in into it. So let's check out our supplies kit, our cute supplies kit. It's like a little carry out for a delivery of cookies or food or something.
We had all these back in our workroom, and a lot of people would walk by and be like, why do you have all these mini pizzas? So.
It's exactly what it looks like. I love it. It's such a nice like spin on things. Okay, so let's switch over cameras and slight pause. Here we are in our kit. So we have our amazing little tiny pizza box that you got, and we can open it up, and we have some supplies in here. We have our 9 by 12 inch canvas. We have some yellow acrylic paint, blue acrylic paint, red acrylic paint, and we also have black and white. We won't be using all of it, so feel free to save your paint and use it for later. We have our round brush, which I might call the small brush, but it is considered a round. It has like a rounded tip to it. And then we have our awesome flat brush. Getting used to the camera and its reflection. So if I do anything opposite, I'm just gonna get used to it. So this is our flat brush, and I might call this the bigger brush. Here we have. And then we have the last couple supplies. I hope that you can either have sorted out, or you can find some painting clothes or an apron. That will be extremely helpful because this acrylic paint is non-washable. So then we have our paper towels. I would recommend grabbing some because then you can easily dab your brushes when we're going to be cleaning it in between. And then we have 1 sturdy cup of water. And that'll be useful to keep our brushes damp, as well as cleaning them in between, since we have 2 brushes. And then we have, can get a disposable plate. It'll be our palette. And last but certainly not least, a tablecloth or covering. Newspaper works great, or one of those plasticky tablecloths. And I think
you can
covers...
you can even unfold your cardboard box if you want to use that to kind of act as your table covering.
Yeah, I love that idea. That's great. Super innovative.
Wonderful. So hey, I'm going to pause just for a second.
Yes.
Kinsey, this is like a technical thing. We can switch your video settings so it's not mirroring your screen for you.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, I can come over to your station and do it for you if you want.
It might not be mirroring because this is my right hand and this is my left hand. I think I was just confused with for the webcam, not the dot cam for pointing to the moon phases.
Okay, got it. I just wanted to make sure because mine was earlier too and I had to change it. So
okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sorry for the technical interruption, everybody.
No worries. So let's get our canvas out here. And I'm going to put my awesome kit box on the side, and I'm going to get my canvas out. And let's jump right in, everybody. What I would love to start off with is, let's look at our paintings. So we have, let's look at it up close. I'm going to bring it in. So this is one of the original ones, and you see here that it's made up of 2 major components that we're going to look at. It has a background, and it has this ombre effect, or blending from tone to tint, which is a solid color fading into a white. A tint is a color that you add white to. A a tone, you add black to. So we might actually use a tone of white for the moon, which is gray. But so we're going to start off with a solid stripe. And what I want to tell you guys is you can do vertical, up and down, or like Laura's lovely example, you can do horizontal. So you can see this nice red violet line behind the moon phases, or you can have it to where the stripe is vertical behind the center, up and down, not right ways. So I would encourage you to decide which way you want to do that. Now, the difference is if the difference is just how you're going to use your paintbrush and make strokes. So it's either going to be up and down or side to side, or you can even rotate so that you're working on it whichever way you want. So you can even go diagonal if you would like, but these are the two that I will really
recommend,
elaborate on, and recommend. So so we have our two major components. We have our background, which I'm going to go through first, and then we're going to take our second half and we're going to work on these moons. And we have a couple tips and tricks to make these circle shapes, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And then we have our third part, which is these cute little snowflakes. So let's get started. I want you to think about what color now. So what way we're going to go, and then what color. So if you have any questions, you can send Trisha, and I can see the chat too about colors, about if you have an interest in a color you want to mix. I'm happy to help with that.
So we're going to also do something a little bit different this evening than we have in some of our other classes. I'm going to paint alongside with Kinsey. So I'm going to turn my camera on. So I'd love, does anyone want to suggest a color for both Kinsey and I to paint this evening?
That's a great idea. Oh, and by the way, while we're waiting on suggestions, an interesting tidbit is that these are the primary colors, and you can make any color in the world with these three.
Blue and black is suggestion so far.
Blue and black, that's awesome. Okay, so blue like the original one, and then black might be very interesting. Black will fade into gray. We have purple. So we can make any color. We can make pink, we can make green. So these are the keys of color, the keys of color. You can make anything. These are the original. No colors can mix together to make these, but these can mix together to make any color. And we also have the neutral colors, black and white. So we are able to pretty much create anything. So, oh, pink. I'm kind of leaning towards pink.
We do have 2 votes for pink. I don't know if that could be a winner, but
I think pink's a winner. I think I'm going to actually take the suggestion of, I know we've just got 2 purples, but we have a purple example. Kinsey, you can throw in here if you want.
Yeah.
I might try to do something a little different and kind of mix purple and black.
Ooh, okay.
So do like a kind of a dark purple. We'll see. It'll be kind of an experiment. I haven't done that in a while, so
that could be really interesting. I like that idea.
But we're gonna see.
I'll do pink, pink is a really fun color because you can do corally pinks, you can do baby pink. I'm gonna shoot for like a hot pink. So, and that sounds like a really fancy. I like this. So fun and fancy, black with purple. I love that.
We'll see if I can execute it. Y'all will have to be the art critics here.
Cool. Well, I'm going to start by getting my palette, and then let's start mixing. Remember to save a little bit of white for the end for our snowflake dots. And we're going to also have to use a little bit of white for our moon gray color. So that's just something to keep in mind. So we're going to start. Let's get all started. We're going to use our brush. I would recommend the flat brush, which is the bigger one. And you can use this as a palette knife in a way. You can use it to scoop. I recommend starting with the lighter color. And since I'm making the color pink, I will be starting off with white. If you are if you're just using blue, you don't have to start with white because it is going to have that fade that will fade into white eventually. But pink is pink is technically red. Actually, I remember when I taught preschool, I would tell my kids that and they would be like, "What? My favorite color is red, so I like pink too." So, because it's a tint, it's just adding a white color to it. So I have a little bit of actually I got a good amount of white. I'm gonna make sure it gets all off my brush because I don't like to waste paint, and I love using lots of paint too. You have freedom to do whatever you wish with your paint, but it is kind of fun to get like a really good amount, and it adds nice texture. So I have my brush. It has a little white on it right now. If you want, you can kind of like put it on the edge of your, so you don't waste any, or this is a technique that we're going to use all throughout the class. Since we have two brushes, I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to dip it in my water and I'm going to scrub the bottom of the cup. And this is a really good way of keeping your brush free of paint, and it cleans it right up. And then in the end, it's also useful. You can add a little soap and you can keep your brushes for a long time.
So what we're doing right now is making
Yes.
a color for the background. That's going to be our main background color.
Yes, this is our main background. Yes, sorry. So I'm mixing to make the main background color, the solid stripe in the middle, whether that be horizontal or vertical. So we're going to have, I'll just show you a reminder again. What I'm doing is I'm mixing pink where this dark blue might be. If that makes sense. So you can pick the color for your background.
And you all have copies on, if you have the kit from the library, on the supply list. If you flip it over, there are 4 examples of the different paintings that we made for this class. So you can also use that if you want to refer back to what the final image is going to be.
Yes, and I do encourage you to do any color you want. And if you have questions on mixing a color other than pink or purplish black, please feel free to ask. I love that, purplish black.
Purplish black.
Please feel free to ask, and I can give my insight on that too.
Yes.
So I have my white, and I'm going to start by adding red. And I'm just going to start with a little for now, and I'm going to mix it up.
And we'd love to also hear what colors you've chosen. So
yeah,
feel free to add in the chat anytime what color you're deciding to do for your painting, because we want to hear.
I'm gonna get my brush clean so this red stays. Sometimes I don't get so particular and you might find me dipping, but for now I'm starting off. So actually a way that I can do that is I can put it to the side of it and I can kind of bring it into it like this. Oh, it's so cool that you guys can see my process. So I'm getting a nice pink color, and yeah, I'm mixing it. It's a nice, I feel like this is like a lipstick pink.
Love it already.
Okay, and if you're mixing pink, I'm gonna teach you a little tip. A way to get like a really nice pink is to add a little bit of blue, but like it's a tiny amount, like teeny tiny like that, because it kind of adds that purple feel. I might have added too much actually. Take that away. So there we go. And it adds that little like magenta color, like because you know magenta is almost like purple.
Mhm.
Oh, that's another thing. So if you are mixing colors, I'll tell you real quick. The basics are yellow, blue, and red are the primary colors. Yellow and blue make green. Blue and red make purple. Yellow and red make orange. And these are orange, purple, and green are the secondary colors. And then like what I'm doing is I'm doing a tint. But we won't get too much into that because color is very, very complex and you can really get to mix in a lot, but please have fun.
And you have a lot of paint. Like I know these are tiny cups, but you are not going to use all this paint. So if you make a color and you're not happy with it and you want to restart, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So actually I am going to use all that blue. It intimidated me, but it's making a nice pink color.
Yeah, it looks great.
Thank you. How's yours? How's purple? Ooh, purpley black is looking good.
Purpley black is mostly just purple, and we're gonna experiment adding some of the black into it. I fear getting too much black at first and having too dark of a color. Yeah.
I do have a question about, will we end up using all the paint? Should we be careful about amounts that we are using? I know you said to save some of the white. And then, you guys already answered the question, so never mind.
We were connected. I knew you were going to ask it before you did.
That's funny. Perfect. Yeah, you can feel free to use as much paint as you'd like and save it for another project or use it too. Like I love using paint, but for the specific project, yes, the white needs to be saved and a little black does too.
And something that Kinsey I think we'll go over, but you also you have a lot of paint, so you want to use a generous amount to do this background part too. So even just looking at the amount of paint that I just used, I'm going to be brave and tip this over a little. I didn't use that much and I've already got a lot of color going here. So
yes. Yeah, it's actually a surprising amount of paint in these little cups.
Yeah, it's about an ounce, which doesn't sound that much, but
yeah, wow,
it's good.
It's great. Another trick that you can do is while you're in between using brushes, if you've dipped it, so I dipped this a little bit in blue, I'm just going to leave that in my water because acrylic, when it's exposed to air, that's when it gets dry. So that's a way to maintain your paintbrushes, is to just keep it in the water. How's everybody doing? May I start putting it on the canvas, or do we have any questions?
So the amount of paint that we both have mixed right now is going to be enough to kind of get the whether you're going to do a vertical stripe or a horizontal stripe, it's going to be kind of just enough to get that stripe going.
Yeah. And we can always mix more. And you'll see here, we're going to use white on the edges. So I'll probably dip directly into the white cup and probably the same amount of this times 2 with white on either this, but we'll get to that very soon. I'm going to start showing you guys this so you have an idea of how much to paint. So I have this cute pink here, and I'm going to start, and I'm going to do a vertical one, okay, like the original blue one. And I'm just going to go and I'm going to find the middle, and I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to start painting the middle with my pink color. And you can make it as thick or thin as you want. And a little trick that I learned and that I love and live by, I like to paint the edges too, because then you don't have to wait to hang this up until you get a frame. So I like to paint the edges. Then you can mount this on your wall super easily with like a simple tack or a nail, and you don't have to wait to get it matted and framed. or you don't have to ever get it matted and framed. Like I said, I love using a lot of paint, so
a general thing I would say to kind of judge whether you're using enough paint, this is just my experience, is if you hear that kind of rough canvas sound as you're running your brush along it, you probably need a little bit more paint for this particular project. If it's nice and smooth, you have enough on your brush.
That's a good tip, Laura. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
And it's already begun. I'm such a messy painter. I've already got paint all over my hands somehow.
Well, I'm already regretting not wearing an apron because I just flicked some on my sweater. So I would totally recommend people use your big t-shirts, use your sweater or your aprons.
Life of an artist.
Because acrylic paint does not wash out very easily.
Yeah, and that'll be our little PSA right at the beginning. If you do get paint on something and you want to make sure you can get it out, try to wash it immediately. Dawn dish soap works pretty well if you can catch it quick enough. Otherwise, you might just have a paint splotch on your shirt.
Yeah, I'm glad I chose pink. It's gonna go with my sweater color. So I'm happy with my right now I'm happy with my pink stripe, and I'm gonna get into the white part. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my white and I'm actually gonna put it on to I'm gonna use my small brush and I'm gonna put it on the edges. I might switch over to my big brush, but it has so much pink on it right now. I don't want to. Actually, yeah, I'm going to switch over to that. I'm going to take some white and put it on my plate over here. And then I'm going to take my pink and I'm going to take a little bit of that white and I'm going to mix it up. So we have like a little middle color, and that could be anything, whatever color you do, you can mix it a little bit with white and have the middle color. And then I'm just going to go in and I'm going to go right into the stripe, but I'm not going to mix all the way to the center. You want to leave that solid color at least in the center. So, but I am going into it, that dark pink, with my brush.
Making Kinsey's screen the full screen right now so you all can kind of see how she's blending up close.
Yeah. And I hear that sound and it reminds me that I want a little bit more paint on my brush. It's a really good idea. And before this dries, so that's another thing, is that we can take our time and meditate. That's one thing I love about painting, is it's like very, very soothing. But also keep in mind that this blending process has everything to do with time. So the paint needs to be wet. I'm just taking off a little bit of the paint on the brush so I can clean it in my water, because I'm going to dip into my white. So we have our solid color in the center. We are mixing the middle colors. And now I'm going to get into the white.
So you would basically say, Kinsey, here, we're making like a light color, a medium color, and a dark color, right? So we started with the dark color.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm cleaning my brush, getting ready to go into the white. And I started with the dark color because that just helps me see where the center is. Oh, another thing, after you clean your brush, you can use your paper towel and you can just dry off your brush. And if there's any excess color, that's really useful. So then you don't get a lot of water on your painting, because water kind of picks up acrylic for some reason. So I'm going to go on the edges with my white, and I'm going to first do the total edge with straight white. And don't worry if it gets a little pink. I mean, if you looked at my blue and then our examples, because Laura did some examples too of our blending, you can see that sometimes it's not always clear. Like the blending isn't like perfect. There's darker colors where the light colors are, and yeah. So anyway, I'm going in with my white, and now that I've gone in with my white on the edges, I'm going to leave that be, and I'm going to start working into the middle color with my light color to create that beautiful blend.
You can kind of choose how large of a block each kind of like stripe is. It doesn't have to be exactly like how Kinsey and I are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You can have just a little bit of white, or you could have a lot more white.
Yes. And like I said, yeah, like Laura said, and like I said, this is your painting. Well, I don't know if I have said this very clearly. This is your painting.
You're saying it now.
And you can I'm just giving you little guidelines to help. And however you want to be creative with it, I'm happy to answer questions on how to make this uniquely your moon phases. So I'm dipping in, and I'm blending the middle with the light, and see how sometimes the light really jumps out over here, and that's okay. Sometimes I'll accidentally get a pink, like a light pink, and where my white, these are not firm lines. It's more like blending. They're not stripes. It's blending. So I'm just working on my edges as well. Dipping into more paint. How's this looking? How's everybody doing out there?
If you're like me, you cannot type in the chat because your hands have paint all over them. So
I was going to say it's very quiet right now in the chat. I think everyone is very involved in their painting. I'm wondering if we have anyone that plans to give this as a gift perhaps later on.
Ooh, what a great question.
it is. I wonder if I'll give this as a gift now.
Yeah, now that you mention it.
I've made a few now, so
yeah.
Kinsey and we've got a lot of moon phases.
Yeah. So yeah, we have almost a set. Well, no, we have very much a set.
I think we're gonna have 6 by the time we're done.
We're gonna have two groups. I can't think of the word right now.
Oh, two
triptychs. Yeah, there we are. I'm gonna go back into the darker, my solid color, and I'm just gonna go in the middle again and kind of just go through and work my way out again.
So we have someone said they gave their cookie as a gift to someone.
Oh, that's sweet. What a lucky friend.
I was going to say that's very kind. I don't share dessert or cookies. My staff knows that I have a real fondness for dessert. So it's not something I share, but I appreciate your kindness to someone.
I appreciate
last year when they did the
kindness.
pine tree, they did an extra one to give it away. Oh, that's a great idea too, Carolyn. So yeah, so you can always recreate this now that you have some of the tools and the skills to do so. You can do another one and continue even maybe teaching others in your family. You could do a little class of your own, or
yeah, that's fun.
Follow along with the video that'll be posted at some point once we get that up on YouTube. So
yeah, I don't think we mentioned that. We are recording this and you all will have access to it after the fact.
I did post it in the chat. We have someone that hadn't planned to be 2 hours, so they may need to pop out. And so I let them know that would be available.
Wonderful. You're on top of it, Trisha.
Well, some days better than others. And, here we are.
Yeah, and I don't think I mentioned that Trisha was here with us today. We do have I mentioned we had a third staff member, and it is Trisha Duzan. She's here kind of moderating for us while Kinsey and I paint. So that's the other voice you're hearing.
Shout out to Trisha.
Thank you. I don't have my camera on because it's very bright where I'm at, and it's not the best.
Just a little much.
A little much. So
that's okay.
All right. I'm getting risky and adding my black in now.
Oh,
I know. I'm
it's
scared.
happening. So that's a tone. It's looking good.
It's strange too. It looks quite a bit different, I will say, in person than on this recording, but that's just how it is when you're doing a virtual thing, I guess.
Yeah, mine is too, actually.
I did mention too that, you know, there's everyone has the option to change their viewing settings so they can feature and highlight Kinsey, and then you can also look at it in like gallery view or speaker view. So you can change that up if you're finding it a viewing experience better for you.
Yes, I have it kind of set up to just follow how I'm viewing it now. So if anyone wants us to highlight one, like the pink one or the purple one, let us know. We're happy to let you see a little closer.
Cool. And at the end, we are going to have a moment where we're going to get to show off our painting. So we all get to see what each other did.
I'm excited for that. That's like my favorite part.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the colors. And I'm just going back in and really enunciating this middle color. On screen, you can't really see it, but here it's kind of like a Pepto-Bismol-y color, which is cute. I like it, but I feel like my stripe in the middle is growing. So I'm just dipping directly. I told you I might start dipping directly into paint, and here I am. So
it's funny. You feel like yours is growing, and I feel like mine's kind of shrinking. So I'm trying to amp it up again.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Opposite problems here.
Yeah. See? That's exactly why we have two instructors right now. You could have a problem of your center stripe shrinking, or you could have a problem with your center stripe growing.
You just never know.
So, and if you have any other problems, I'm sure we can help navigate through that too.
Yes.
I'm kind of content with mine. I'm going to give you guys a little bit more time to work on yours. Like I said, if you have any more questions, just let me know. I'll probably just keep brushing because the blend is where it's at.
It's so relaxing, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, and I did mention this too, but you can raise your hand, and you can, if you'd prefer that I unmute you, I'm happy to do that. You may have to bear with my technology of finding that option, but happy to do so. We do have a comment from Jennifer saying they both look great. They are so different. They do look really nice.
Yeah.
I say it like all the time. If anyone attends these classes regularly, they're probably sick of it, but it is the part that we miss. I love seeing what everyone creates, because that's the thing about art. You can all follow the same instructions and make something totally different.
Yeah, it's really incredible how that works.
This is the part that I'll stop talking so people can relax, but this is the part where I just could zone in and do this for hours.
Same. We'll work on blending for like 5 more minutes, and then we'll move on to the next part.
Thank you, Jennifer, for sharing that too. They are saying the two different looks. So doing the vertical, the horizontal, and the different colors, I think, that does really help for the interpretation too, I think.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
We have to be creative with the virtual world, right? I mean, we
really do.
It's such a different experience, and we are looking forward to, getting back to more in-person programming starting in 2022.
Yes.
So that's exciting.
Yes, I was gonna kind of announce that towards the end, but this program.
Sorry.
No, it's not because I was waiting.
Stealing your thunder.
I was going to mention what the next class is, and it will be if all goes as planned, which we all know what plans do anymore. But yeah, if all goes as planned, we'll be having our next Crafty Adults class in person, and it's going to be great.
Wow, that is so exciting.
Yeah, I've loved this. I really have enjoyed learning a lot about doing a virtual craft class. But I'm excited to be able to see people's faces again.
Yeah, it's fun to join as a community. And
yeah.
When Jennifer makes a great point, I think she was the one that mentioned that she hadn't expected maybe 2 hours. So she's not doing hers tonight, but she's going to soak in all the tips and then do it later. And we've recommended that too in other classes as well. If you're feeling like, we never want anyone to feel stressed or about any of these craft experiences. So if you're unable to keep up, or you're just, it's, just stop where you're at, and you can always pick it back up and follow along with the video once that's out.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. I know when I'm learning new things, I always end up watching videos over and over, pausing, and it's fun to go at your own speed.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's important to remember, if you are painting for the first time this evening, or it's been a long time since you've painted, that it's okay. No one is an expert at anything the first time they do it. So this is meant to be enjoyable and fun, and no need to feel like you have any expectations. You don't need to make the next American masterpiece,
Totally.
I'm certainly not. And I'm having fun.
Yeah.
Well, they're looking great. And Laura knows how my abilities are with crafting. So, and that it causes me great stress. But
Yeah,
I appreciate the process.
That's the part where I'm like, oh, if it causes you stress, then maybe don't do it.
Recently learned I can no longer cut snowflakes, so I had assistance from our department to make that happen.
That is a frustrating task. I had that same experience when I was the preschool art teacher, actually.
Yeah. What happens with that skill? I was like, why can't I do this?
Well, I think part of it is because you remember doing it as a kid. So you're like, this has to be easy, right? Like, this is easy. And then when yours doesn't look how you thought, you're like, really? Can't even do a kid's craft? But it's harder than it looks.
Yeah, it's actually quite abstract, and it's right up there with origami or something. It's challenging. You can get really stylized, like snowflakes. I personally just like the simple chunks out of paper. My snowflakes are rectangular typically, and I'm okay with it. I don't know how people get the circular.
Well, look, every snowflake is different, people.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Just like our paintings. So I'm very, very content with mine, and I hope you guys are getting to that point too. This has been really nice to paint and blend. I love blending. Oh, I'm realizing now I kind of forgot this little corner. Getting into my white, and I'm just gonna cover that up. Oh, I'm out of the frame. Can you guys see me? There we go. Sorry about that. Just going to get this edge, and I think I got it all at that point.
While Kinsey's finishing up that edge, I think we are going to probably move on to doing our moons here shortly, but I would love to hear from you all. Where are you ready to move on to moons? Do you feel like you want a little teeny bit longer with your background? Where are you at?
Yeah, that's a great question. How's everybody doing? The moons will take a little bit of time.
So we've got it longer from Brendan. Brendan is saying longer.
Okay, Brendan.
Okay, Brendan.
Thank you for updating us.
All right. Well, we'll give you guys a little bit longer. And is it okay if I talk about the process a little bit?
Yeah, let's kind of talk through what we'll be doing with the moons.
Sure.
Kind of talk about what it's going to look like.
And
We
take your
do
time.
have some that are ready. So I think, yeah, talking through what the next steps are, I think will be perfect.
Okay, so we have our gorgeous backgrounds here. And what we're going to do is I'm going to get my example again. And so the next step is we're going to make our phases of the moon. So there's a couple ways of going about this. I would say get your small paintbrush ready. And what we're going to do is we're going to find the center. Oh, okay. Actually, first we're going to mix the paint. So I'm going to move my paint canvas aside. And I'm going to get my palette.
We do have a question of, should we wait for the background paint to dry before we add the moon paint?
No, it's okay if it's not completely dry. If you look at this painting, actually this one, and then an example that the purple one that Laura made, you can see that some of the blue actually is coming through. And I think that looks nice. I think it almost looks like the shadows and light coming from the moon. So I don't think that it's a problem at all. See Laura's example here, there's the purple mixed with the white and just a little bit of gray, and I think that looks really nice. So no, this whole painting can be done pretty wet on wet, and I think that the outcome looks really nice. If you do want to do a more concise gray, you can wait, but I would recommend just moving right along. So we're going to take our white, and my white is actually a little bit pink. I was holding nothing back. I was dipping right into it, but it's okay. Yeah. So I'm going to take my small round brush, and I'm going to take out some white. La, la, la. I have my white, and I'm keeping a little bit there but you don't need much for your snowflakes. So don't worry if it's only like a tiny, tiny amount. And then I'm going to get my black paint. I'm going to scrape off all of my white paint. I'm going to scrub my brush in my water. My lid. Okay. And I'm gonna towel it off. And then I'm going to take my little tiny brush, and I'm just going to dip the tiniest amount of black. So we're starting with our lighter color, and we're going to just dip like that much. Can everybody see that? It's not that much. And I'm going to mix it into the white, because you can always add more. You can always add more black. It's like a haircut. You always want to start with the smallest amount that you cut off, and then you can cut more off. I don't know if that makes sense, but
like bangs. Yeah. You don't want to cut them all off in the beginning. Slowly work up to it.
Yeah. So I'm going to get a little bit more black. And I'm going to add it to the white. I'm liking that. My the colors are all very bright here. So I might actually, you guys can't, this looks a lot more lighter than it is, but for the camera, I'll just add a little bit more black so you guys can see.
And I'll start mixing one as well and kind of come back here.
There we go. That's a nice cool gray. All right, so I have my moon color. And okay, so we just discovered something cool. So these shapes of the moon are all parts of a circle, right? So we have our full moon, and then we have our waning and waxing on either side, all the way to our crescent. Half moon, 3/4 moon. They're all parts of a circle. So when we were actually preparing for this, we realized that these lids are perfect circles, and they're kind of the perfect shape of the moon. So if you would like, so we have our moon shape there, see? If you like, we kind of figured out a way that if you're feeling a little bit unsure about making these shapes, this is just one of a couple options. I will also show you how to make the shapes, but what we discovered is, and I'm gonna bring up another canvas to show you what I mean.
Yeah, we kind of discovered that you could use the lid almost like a stamp.
Yeah.
And stamp it onto your canvas. And so you have that circle shape right there, and you don't have to trust your hand to make the circle.
Totally. So yeah, as she said, as Laura said, we're going to take our paint and we can like kind of go around, paint on the lid, and you can stamp it by pushing down like
and
that, see?
And she's using like the outside of the lid, like the top.
Yeah, and then what you can do is you can fill it in and you have your circle. And you can, for the different phases, you can do half, you know, or just crescent. So feel free to use this. I'm going to show you though, in order to start the phases, what you want to do is you want to find the center of your painting. So right in the middle, mine's right here, and you're going to make a dot. So whether you're using the lid, that's where you'll put the dot, or that's where you'll, I'm sorry. If you're using the lid, that's where you'll put your lid after you paint it, right over the dot like that. Doop. And then you can start. I'm going to just jump right in and I'll show you how maybe you can use your brush to make these shapes. I also, since the moon is organic, you know, and this painting is very, you can make it as organic or as, you know, geometric as you would like. I don't know if you noticed in the example painting, they're not perfect circles or shapes. So have fun with it, and that makes it look more interesting, and you know, it's unique. So I'm going to start here, and I'm actually going to go out. And I love how my pink is coming through with the gray. It's a nice contrast. So I have my circle in the middle. Next is, you'll just move out, like move out on, so you have your center, and then we'll make the next ones, which is the 3/4 moon, I believe. Let's check our reference. So this one. So I'll show you an example of using the lid that you might find helpful. So I'm going to we do like that, and stamp. And we have a little partial circle, which you can then really trace and fill it in. Then you can just rotate that lid. Use it on the other side. It's kind of a half moon, but I'm going to finish it by just adding a little bit more paint. There we go. I'm a humming person when I'm working. How about you guys? I feel like there's whistling and then there's humming, and then I just love seeing how people work. It's always so interesting. And then I always remember it's always memorable. There's individuals who stick out their tongue while they work too. It's always
Yeah.
really funny. I think I'm all of them actually, except for I don't whistle very well. So I have my 3 here, and next is our half moons. So half moons, and I have mine facing out. I think that's how it goes. I'm going to just kind of create my half moon, making a C, about a right side, and then on the other side, it's a backward C. And we finish it. That actually might be useful too for the crescent moon. So there we go. And these are not pencils, so don't worry if it's not super sharp, your corners of your semicircle or your half circle. So then we have, last but certainly not least, crescent moon.
Arguably the hardest.
Yep. So I'm gonna practice my crescent moon. And take this opportunity for you guys to really be able to see maybe how the different ways you can use your hand to create this shape.
And feel free, you all, to practice if you'd like on something like a piece of paper. If you'd like to practice before you start on your painting, your moons, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I already have this practice canvas here, and you can have different crescents too. Like I see here, this one is kind of like a cradle, like, and then this one is more closed C shape. So I'm going to use like this, I'm going to use red because it sticks out of this white. So you can use your lid as Laura's doing, and you can kind of create this, paint this C, and use that as like a general tracer. So here we have our C. I see. And then we're going to paint it. And that's one crescent moon. And then you can also use just like one fell swoop. And then the crescent, I feel like, is always a little thicker on the, so you go again. And I kind of like it to look a little bit whimsical and add like the tail to it.
Yeah, I like that. I like the tail a lot.
So thank you so much. Or you can do the C. Like this is one way I go a lot. You can just do a C that you've learned, and you can just enunciate the center and add your little tail. This is C. C for Christine. Do we have a Christine?
Any Christines in the house tonight?
Any Christines in the house? Oh, C for Champaign Public Library.
Fine, that makes more sense. I love it.
And we also have, let's see, That is a C for Caroline. Caroline. We have a Caroline. So there we go. So those are different ways. Some other ways, you can see here some of the examples that I did of like the 3/4 moon is just an oval. So that's a helpful way you can do it if you would like. And then also the half moons. See, I like when the half moons are not exact. They're more like I said, whimsical and organic. You don't have to have it exactly a half moon. This is your painting and it's going to look gorgeous.
Yes, it's going to look amazing.
A C for cookie.
A C for cookies and canvases.
See, yeah. Cool. So I'm coming back. Oh, another thing you can do that I see Laura doing is you can mix like on the canvas. I think that's a fun thing to do, and it adds texture and it adds the shadows that are of like a moon-like.
Yeah, you can kind of mess around and make it look however you want. You could have it be flat. You could add some texture. You could try to make it look a little bit more like a sphere.
Mm-hmm.
Could do a combination.
Yeah.
Is anyone needing any tips? What colors did we use for the moon? Just black and white, and then a little bit of whatever is shining through on your canvas, or if you want to add a few accents of whatever color you used as your background, you can. Like I might add a little bit of I think I'm going to actually just dip my brush right in here and just add a little bit of that to my moon. Just
yeah,
add
that's
a little
awesome. Because
something.
yeah, I like that idea. If your paint is still wet, I encourage you to still work with it and paint. I think it looks really neat. It looks almost like light coming out of it.
I agree.
The moons. And then I love how Laura is, yeah, she's doing that. And you can also take a little black. Oh, but Mick, one thing I do recommend is if you are making that gray color, black goes a really long way. So start with white and then add just like dots like this brush of black to it. So I'm going to go back in and kind of like create some shadows here. It's a little bit too black.
And keep in mind, I've kind of done this a little bit too. I kind of have a couple spots where it's a little too organic for what I'm going for. So I want to kind of cover that up again. So I'm just pulling from my original paint palette and then just kind of grabbing a little bit to kind of dot over some of these spots where I kind of went a little bit too crazy for my taste. So you can always kind of cover up anything like that.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Gone.
Yeah. Yeah, you can kind of, and the background's blended. So if you have that left over, you can just kind of go right in there and nobody will ever know.
Nope. My only tip with that would be a little goes a long way. So maybe at the beginning you were using a lot of paint. If you're trying to do a little touch up, you really don't have to use that much. I'll kind of try to get close so you can see.
I apologize if we've already addressed this question, but I had to answer a phone call.
Oh.
And take a reference question.
Oh, that's life at the library.
Did you, Mick had a question of, can you say again what colors to use for the moon? Just finish the background. And I believe it was white and then slowly add in a little bit of black.
Perfect. We addressed it and you gave the right answer, Trisha.
Yay me. Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, people can probably tell by now I'm avoiding the crescent moon.
That's okay. it will be there when you're ready.
I don't know why I think I'm a little too particular and I want it to be as even as possible, and it's not going to be that even. Accuracy isn't always my strong suit.
And that's okay. Absolutely, totally fine. Also,
it's fine.
A little reminder, you guys can change out your water at any time. Because we're using totally different colors with the whatever your background is, and then the gray. So you can change your water out, and it's a little refresh.
Yeah. It's a good habit to be in if you're going to go from a dark color to a light color. Even though we're not using water in this paint, it just helps your brush be nice and clean.
Yeah. So I'm going to do some touch-ups. Got my color here, and I'm just going to go in there and kind of go over that gray color, which is darker. Might not cover it up completely. See, even here on my painting, I do have a little bit of from the lid, but I don't really mind it. It kind of looks like some organic matter in the sky.
There we go. Yeah.
So be easy on yourself. Oh, and then you can go in. So like if you look at my original painting, I went in with the dark blue to create the shadows. Because I remember I was thinking, like how is there a way to symbolize the new moon, since the new moon is like not there? It's pretty much not present in ways that you might symbolize it. I went in and I kind of pulled the white in here to this crescent moon, and then over here I pulled in some blue, and then to me I felt like that kind of made it so like over here, you know, that the new moon would be there, or even off the edge of the painting. It kind of creates this imaginary thing. So you can go in and create like finish your moons with like another color, or just create the shadow with the darker your solid original color. Or you don't have to do that too.
It is your painting. Do whatever you feel.
Cool. And if there's any frustration,
sorry,
oh God, sometimes I just get jazzed about painting, guys.
I love it.
I love it too. You know what? If you have any frustrations happening with the moons too, feel free to reach out, phone a friend. You can call me on chat or Laura. We have some tips.
Yep. Ask away. I know this is like, I feel like the point when people kind of like really get in the zone. And just to remind everybody, we have another 40 minutes in this webinar, in this class. So don't hesitate to ask questions, or even if it's not related to this painting, do you have a painting question? Maybe Kinsey and I can help you.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
I would not call myself an expert at acrylic, but you know, Kinsey and I both went to art school. We know a little bit.
Yeah, we can make something up for you.
Well, and I will say, you know, I'm going to put this out here. You know me, I like to fill the void with questioning.
Fill the void.
What do you like about acrylic versus another medium, or what do you not like about acrylic?
Well, I would say I like acrylic because it's non-toxic in terms of breathing. So you can work with it in your home. and comparatively to oil, I guess I would say. Also, oil is it's very challenging, I feel like.
Yeah, they're so different.
Yeah, they're very different. And I do love working with watercolor. I think it's very different as well. And I've heard that you guys have that Crafty Adults did have a watercolor workshop. Am I right on that?
We sure did, and anybody can go back and watch it if you'd like. It was taught by local artist Joan Jack. She does a lot of different mediums, and watercolor is one. So you can go back and watch that on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I think I might do that. It was like flowers, wasn't it?
Yeah, she did flower wreaths.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check that out for this holiday season.
Yay.
Carolyn, you're right. The acrylic dries very fast, which it can be a plus, right? Because some of the other paints do take a while.
Oil,
totally. Yeah, oil takes it could be like
it could be days, months, yeah.
Yeah. So it dries really fast. You can use acrylic too on like pretty much any medium you want, or any surface.
Yeah.
Like fabric, or you can decorate your shoes with it, or it's great. I like acrylic a lot.
Yeah, I'm more of a watercolor person myself. That's my preferred painting medium. I find that I can actually control the paint more and be a little bit more accurate, and I like that. I'm messy. I'm a messy painter. So oil is like, I used to use oil paints in an apartment that I rented, and whew, that was dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm a messy painter, and oil just is like, it's once you get it one place, it's like somehow everywhere.
Yes, and it is a toxic, it has toxic fumes.
Yep.
So open a window, use acrylic until you get one of those waste baskets too. I think you have to, because everything's really flammable.
Yeah.
So acrylic is a great, like, starting off. Of course, you can learn studio safety and everything like that, but it's definitely
acrylic is more approachable. That's just
that's perfect.
Yeah, one of the main things. It's approachable. It's not super expensive. You can start a painting hobby fairly inexpensively. You can paint on, when I was in art school and I didn't have that much money, I painted on cardboard. I recycled a lot of things. Instead of going out and buying new canvases, I would paint over old canvases and redo it. So
yeah,
a lot of options.
It's great. Yes, you always feel like you can paint over something if you're not pleased with it. Use it again. Paint over it with white acrylic paint or gesso, which is another material, and reuse the canvases. Especially when you're practicing, it's a great thing to do. Also, I remember. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just going to say in rock painting, and then I was just going to throw in, Laura knows my love for TikTok. And so one of the things that I've come across is people purchasing old, vintage frames and pictures that they then add to or make a darker version of, or, make it holiday themed by adding in, whatever. And it's kind of fun.
I love that idea. That is so cool. I got to get on the TikTok train.
It took me a little while, and then I can really spend too much time on it.
Yeah, I don't know that I would recommend it, because but I like to come in and say, look what I learned on TikTok.
Totally. You know what? This is a really great outlet. That's like looking into your community library and seeing that there's YouTube videos on how to do stuff is a really great alternative to social media as well.
What a great point.
Yeah, that's neat. But I still might look into TikTok, Trisha.
I mean, great resources, but also
I'm sure we can get a book too about like the how to stop TikTok addiction or something like that.
That's so true. And we also have a webinar if you'd like to watch it about TikTok. So we've got a tutorial for you if you're interested in using TikTok. taught by two of our wonderful staff members. I may or may not have attended the workshop.
Oh, wait, that is so cool. I have to look at that before I get it. That's neat. And there's so many great artists on TikTok showing their process too.
Yeah,
there really is. There is some really good stuff. And just as Laura mentioned, the YouTube playlist can be accessed from our website fairly easily, or if you just go to YouTube and search for Champaign Public Library. And if you subscribe to our channel, then you also can get notified when we add new content, which I think for me, I really like doing that.
That is so cool.
Me too. Then I don't have to remember to seek something out. It just tells me.
That's awesome. Yeah. So we're both just going in and highlighting. I love the white reflections that Laura has done. You can see, and I love that's so cool. That is really neat, Laura. Good job.
Thank you so much, Kinsey.
I like that a lot. And so I'm going in with, I'm kind of like going in with pink.
I like adding the black that you're doing right now.
Oh, thank you. I'm going in with pink. I'm going in with black. I'm kind of just creating the depth and texture in the moons just to make it a little bit more interesting. It's a little too much.
I'm like mostly just looking at my painting, but I've been, popping over to see what you're doing and seeing how the chats are. So I love hearing you say something before I see what you've done. Do you know what I mean? You're like, oh, yeah. That was too much. And I'm like, oh, wonder what it looks like.
Boop. Yeah, that's fun. This has been so fun. I'm having a blast. I hope everybody else is having a blast.
No, it's so quiet. Everybody must be painting.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is great.
I like doing the rock painting. Yeah, rock painting is really fun. I paint rocks with acrylic too, and I put them in my garden.
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat. That is so neat to think about, that you can kind of like revamp or paint over like some vintage frames, or even like the unknown photographs of, people that you can find at a vintage store or something like that. And I like that idea.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
This will tell you a little bit of probably who I am, but the painting that I saw that was really cool was they made it, it was like this happy scene, with trees and a barn in the background, and then they made it Halloween themed. And
I was waiting for.
Added, I knew you would expect this, but then they added a graveyard, and like it was just really kind of a fun segue into making it completely different, but taking some of the basics that existed in the picture.
Yeah, that's so cool. So you love Halloween, Trisha?
I gravitate towards things that are perhaps darker,
spooky. Yeah.
I'm a big into true crime stuff, podcasts, books, documentaries.
Nice, that's awesome.
Oh, we have a question. Yes, can I unmute you? Yes, I can. Please hold.
How exciting!
Let's not get crazy until I get it figured out.
Right. Lower my expectations. Got it.
While we're here,
can you raise your hand? Can you do that for me? And then I think that will bring up a different.
That's really cool, Carolyn. I like that idea. There are many Facebook pages to post what was left and what is found. That's so neat.
Oh,
now if I see a painted rock, I'll know it's you. I just had this idea to make this very, very different than the other paintings that I created. So I'm kind of going in and I'm making patterns now on my moons.
Ooh, I love that.
So That's cool to do too. If you make more, that's one thing that artists often do is they make the same painting over and over again, because then you get different perspectives, and even you create different perspectives. Even though you're the same painter, you can make different things. And then you end up with a series of work like a real serious artist.
I know. I always used to joke with like my friends and stuff like, oh, how do you make it seem like you're a real artist? Paint 3 of them. Done.
That's so true, actually. Yeah.
Call it a series and people take you seriously.
Yeah.
Laura, I don't know that I have the ability to let someone talk.
Oh no. Yeah, I can do it. Hold on.
Or is it me?
And
no, I can definitely make it happen here.
AD would like to be able to talk.
Hi, thank you.
Hello.
I had a question. You mentioned about like the paintings that like you thrift and then you paint over it. That sounds really interesting. And I was wondering, how do you like identify like whether it's like a oil or acrylic like painting, and do you need to match that with your own painting? Like, how do you make it look seamless?
That's a really good question. Kinsey, do you have any advice on identifying an oil versus acrylic painting?
I would say, well, no. I would say
it's
though,
kind of hard.
Yeah, especially old ones, you can't really tell. And then older ones, you can still do acrylic over oil, I feel. Like, I think you can do acrylic on anything.
Yeah, because acrylic's just plastic, basically. So
yeah. Okay, Carolyn says acrylic is shinier. Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay. Yeah, that is a really good point. But you could do acrylic paint on top of a print. You could do it on top of an oil painting, an acrylic painting. You could do it on a watercolor, but it'd definitely be noticeable.
Yeah, because it'd be brighter colors.
Yeah, like they look really different.
Oh, sparkles would be awesome. Lisa, if you have sparkles, I strongly encourage you to put sparkles on this painting.
That would be amazing.
And you could even do that in the background or the moons, really. That would be really cool. Sparkles are awesome. I'm all about sparkles. I didn't used to be crazy about sparkles. I was a preschool teacher for a little bit. And after that, I was like, oh my gosh, sparkles make everything better.
I know I represented today by wearing a sparkly shirt, actually.
Oh, look at Laura's shirt. Yes.
I leave a glittery path everywhere I have been in the library today.
That's awesome.
And that's usually what happens is when anyone wears sparkles is that we know where they've been.
Oh, but it's a curse sometimes.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I know. I would do a sparkle project with the kids, and the parents would pick up and they would just like look at me. They'd feel like, cool.
Why did you do this to us?
I had someone send me an invitation, and when I took it out of the envelope and opened it, they did. I opened it in my car. I called them immediately and said, I will not be coming because I just, unless you're going to come vacuum my car, no, thank you. That's my feeling on glitter.
It should come with a warning. That invitation should have said, open over the trash or something like that.
Yeah, it's just why would you do that?
That's my favorite.
I will not be coming. Yeah, that is good. I love that. That's so much conviction.
I just want to make sure we did answer your question, right? AD, I just want to make sure we're good.
Yeah, you did. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, Carolyn, thank you so much. We've really appreciated you being here with us. Is there any way for her to send a picture since her battery is low or something like that?
Yeah, Carolyn, I know that we interact on Facebook a bit, so feel free to send it to us on Facebook, or you can email the library at info@champaign.org if you'd like to send us a picture of your painting. We'd love to see it.
Yeah, totally. Thank you so much. And actually, how is everybody doing with their moons? Is everybody still having a good time? Awesome. I sure am. Yeah. We're gonna, in about a couple minutes where I'm going to open, or not me specifically, but one of these wonderful librarians are going to open up for you all to show your artwork off.
Yeah. We still have quite a bit of time left this evening too. So don't feel like we're rushing you either. We've got some time, and we want to add. Do we want to show how to add our little snowflake kind of details or star details yet?
Oh, yes, of course. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Laura.
Mick has a fun, I like Mick's comment. Glitter is the plague of the crafting world. I only have one pinky left to type because of all the rest have paint. So, thank you, Mick. I feel your pain. I'm sorry.
That's so funny.
We can always unmute you if needed.
Look at what I'm working with here.
Yeah. Ooh, show of hands. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, you win actually, Laura.
I hate to say it, but I always do if the question is how messy of a painter are you? I'd probably beat a 5-year-old out.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Something I know about myself, you know?
That's great. So, okay, yeah, let's get into the snowflakes. I almost forgot about this, but man, it's super, super important for this season. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a little bit of white. And if you have some of your solid color, a little bit of it, that might be of use too. So keep that nearby. So we're going to make these dots, and you can make them as small or big as you want. Here on this painting, they're pretty big. It's like those snowflakes that are like kisses from the sky. And then we have a more delicate version, some flurries here on the light purple one. So smaller dots. And what I want you to notice is there's, like on this one of Laura's, the screen one, you can put darker colors, either the gray or your dark green with the dots as well. So I'll show you how to do that specifically. Here, actually, while we're looking at all the colors, let's look at all of them. So here we have the orange mixed in between, and it just kind of creates a nice style. Interesting to look at. So I want you to use your smallest brush, your round brush, and make sure it's good and clean. Use your paper towel. And we're going to be using white first. And we dip in. And you can kind of like twirl the side so that it makes your brush pointy. Then you can go in with your dots. I just made this little mistake, and that's okay, because I feel like it almost looks like a snowflake. But if I didn't like that, I could easily just like mix a little pink and white, and I could cover that up. So don't be worried. But I actually might kind of like go in that style. Instead of dots, I might do like a little bit of like a line to show like the snow is falling. But you can do dots too, which is just kind of like light like that. And you can just do them wherever. You can put them on your moons or around them or in the shadows that you made. It's just a nice snowy evening. Enchanting evening, enchanting lunar scape. I think that was coined by Laura. So in the white spots, that's where I would recommend dipping into your original color and kind of going over like there over the white. Because then it creates that. It's still the same pattern. It's almost like a shadow of the snow. So it kind of creates that. You can go in the middle too to kind of continue it. What is Bob Ross? Bob Ross says there's no mistakes, just happy little accidents.
Happy little accidents.
I told myself I would not quote Bob Ross today, and here I am. It's contagious. He is a great, great painter.
He is, and I absolutely love. I told myself I wouldn't quote Bob Ross.
I did. I was in the car driving over here, and I was like, "What are you not going to do today, Kinsey? You are not going to quote Bob Ross." And here I am, and now I actually don't regret it though, because there are no mistakes. There's just happy little accidents.
Honestly, it's such a like maybe overused and silly kind of phrase, but it's so true. I actually think about that sentiment a lot when I'm making things.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
I do. I think a lot about how it's like you could frame this as it being negative and it could be a mistake, or you could say, you know, it worked out. It's a happy little accident.
Totally.
We say that all the time. And fun fact, because I do listen to true crime podcasts, and there was a documentary on him, and the trees that he always tries to squeeze in at the very end of the show. Let's just get one more tree. He did that intentionally to drive his producer crazy, because it stressed her out every single time, because they only had like a minute or two left. And so he became a fun challenge for him.
I love hearing that too. That was one of my favorite parts.
So he was on like a true crime podcast?
Well, yes, because there's a lot to his story, and it was very interesting, I have to say.
There's a documentary you can watch on Netflix that's informative.
I guess I definitely need to look into that. Thank you so much for informing me.
Sure. Ask your local librarians. We have a wealth of knowledge on recommendations for that.
Yes. Ask me about a fiction book and I'm deer in the headlights, because that's not what I read. But ask Trisha and I about random true crime, and we're like, oh, did you hear about this?
Wow.
That's why we have a wealth of librarians with different interests.
Exactly.
We can hit all the things.
No, I'm just joking. Of course, we could recommend fiction books as well.
Yeah. Well, it does sound like that there might be mistakes in life, then just not all of them are happy little accidents. So
really,
in painting,
great point.
In painting, there are no mistakes though.
We do have Katie that's saying she's finished already.
Heck yes.
Good job, Katie. I can't wait to see it. Try to stay on so you can show it off.
Yeah. We could probably start that process soon, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever.
Cool.
Especially if we start to hear that many people are finished, we can certainly start that.
Totally. That's great. See, I actually am really happy that I accidentally smeared that, because I think this looks really interesting. There's some movement happening in the painting because of that, for mine at least. Loving it. Very cool.
And Laura, I think you will, unless you promote me to host, and I don't know what that will do to all the other things, you'll probably have to do the screen key.
Oh, I can do that. That's fine.
So
I think I can promote you. Do you want me to try it?
Sure. I don't know what will happen, but that's the fun of the live webinar.
That's true. I think it might affect the.
I'm afraid it might affect the image that people are seeing.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it because we're recording this, and I'd hate for at the very end to have something weird happen. Because knowing my Zoom luck, that's what would happen.
Yeah, I agree.
all right.
All right. Well, I'm just about finished, and I will.
Me too. You can stop whenever, or you can add as many dots as you want. Same.
And if you are interested in sharing, please just let us know in chat. You just say that I'd like to share. Katie, if you're interested in doing so, just let us know, and we'll work on getting that to happen.
Yeah, if
Totally.
anyone is ready to share at this point, let us know. I'm happy to get that process started in the next couple minutes.
Yeah, and
just to kind of break up our time here.
I'm very excited to see what you guys have done. Before we do the showing process, I want to take a moment to tell you guys a little tip on cleaning. Just as I said throughout the process, putting your brush in the water and scrubbing the bottom is a great way to clean it. Another great way to clean it is if you have any dish soap, just put a little dot in your hand and you can scrub your hand with your brushes, and that will like really maintain your brushes so you can use them next time. The acrylic will dry it out and it almost gets impossible to
clean.
Clean and get off. Yeah, it gets the bristles all gunky, and then you leave them. This is a little tip I've really only learned recently. You let them dry horizontally, laying down. You don't let them dry down. And then try not to leave them in water for very long because they will soak up the water and the wood will swell. So these are very nice paintbrushes, and the kit's amazing from the Art Coop. So if you want more paintbrushes in different shapes and sizes, I would recommend going there. You might run into other local artists there.
Yeah, we didn't mention that up top, and I should have. But if you got a kit, you most likely saw that your canvases were in an Art Coop bag. We did work with the Art Coop to create these supply kits. So they're a wonderful resource. Like Kinsey said, it's been run by local artists since when was it? Somebody tell me, 1977
or 77.
Maybe it says it on the bag. I can't remember. But it's a great resource, and we worked with them to get these supplies for you all tonight. So we always recommend people supporting local businesses in our community.
Yeah, and you can get anything from like ceramic stuff to painting stuff to drawing utensils to sketchbooks. It's amazing. I go there at least once a week for something. And speaking of ceramics, that's another thing. Like if you do accept the mistakes of your paintings, sometimes the material is actually a collaborator with you. And like what I learned even working in other materials such as ceramics is sometimes that will inspire you to go a different direction than you expected to. So it's always fun to work with your paint instead of fighting it.
Very good point. That's kind of, it's similar to my kind of thought process too, with the like, there's no mistakes.
Totally. Yeah.
All right, I'm cleaning up my hands here so that I can use my keyboard. So be patient with me, you all, and we'll start sharing our work.
I'm so excited to see everybody's. And I'm really excited about my bubblegum moon painting too. And I'm loving your velvety purple one. That's great.
Thank
so
you.
Nice.
My purpley black.
Purpley black. That's the original.
It's more purple than black, but I knew that going into it. That was how it was going to be, because I'm not a black and white kind of person.
Yeah.
Just not.
You know, what's funny about my painting is it really looks blurry. Like it's not even the image of the camera. The painting looks like you're looking into like a flurry.
Okay. I'm so glad that you're saying that, because I was wondering.
Yeah.
I was
crazy.
like,
there's
I
a
can't
lot of
tell
movement.
if it's not focusing, but then I was like, your hands seem clear. So I was like, how did she do that?
Yeah, this painting looks like it's like you're driving and it's in your windshield and the flurry is happening.
That is what it looks like.
I'm really amazed, actually. So that's another thing. I surprise myself all the time, and I hope that you are allowing yourself to be surprised by, instead of, that's one thing accepting mistakes does, is you are excited about what you make, and it's a surprise.
Absolutely.
That's so crazy.
Absolutely. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna get going here, and first person I see who I think says they are ready. Lisa, are you ready to share? Go ahead and give me a yes if you are, and I will get your video turned on.
Awesome.
I just want to make sure. Yes. Okay, good. Lisa,
Laura, should I switch to my camera now?
Yeah, we can turn on our I've been calling it our face cameras.
Face camera.
Let me.
Hi, everybody. Be funny
We're
if
back.
splashed with pink or purple.
I know. I was actually thinking that. Do I have paint on my face? I hope not. Okay, Lisa, you should be joining as a panelist here momentarily. And we'll be able to see your screen.
Can't wait.
And I'm going to, let me see if I can remove a couple of these. So we'll be able to see Lisa when she comes in, when she joins. Man, Trisha's too busy working as a librarian and as a craft class host over here.
These women wear many hats at the library.
Yes. I'm going to try this again. Lisa, see if you have an invite from me to join here.
Sometimes it goes behind the screen too. I will say that sometimes it pops up behind what you're looking. There she is.
Lisa!
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh, I
Oh,
love
that
it.
looks amazing.
I almost tipped over this computer.
I don't know about amazing, but I did
Oh.
find some glitter. I don't know if you can see it,
Oh, wow. It's fantastic.
but I don't know if it's going to stay on. I put it on kind of after the paint was dry because I didn't think of it earlier.
Wow.
Can you see it or no?
I can
when
see
you do it
slight
up close.
sparkles. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay.
I love your moons. I love the size of them on your painting too. They're a little smaller than how Kinsey and I did ours, and I really like that.
Yeah, it really makes it look
Thanks.
amazing. It looks like a landscape, almost like we're like at a Norwegian, Northern Europe, and you're seeing like the moon phases. Like it's almost like a photograph was timed out to see the different moon phases.
Okay,
Like the sky
cool.
and it looks amazing. It's really great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you for sharing, Lisa. Anybody else?
I think we did have some more here. We'll come back. Let me see who our next person is. Okay, AD, we're going to add you back as a panelist here.
And I see that Mick also was interested, but did not want to go first.
Okay. That would have probably been me if I were you all attending as well. Like, I'll let someone else go first and see.
Kate, that's a great intuitive way of using a palette, though, using the parchment paper. Good
I
idea.
didn't see that. I'm gonna make AD's the main screen here. Oh, I love that.
Wow, that's gorgeous. Good
Thank
job,
you.
AD.
I had a lot of fun with like the texture on the moons.
Oh yeah,
That's
use
what
a
I
lot
was-
of paint.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The texture that you used is really wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
nice. Oh, and I love the yellow star or the stars or snowflakes in there as well. That's really
I didn't even
nice.
notice that. Yeah, that looks so good. That's wonderful. Good blending too.
Yeah, the blending's awesome, and I love how it's like really dark in the middle, and it kind of creates it's making the moons almost look 3D, like they're kind of sticking out on a semicircle.
I was thinking the same thing, Kinsey. It's got a texture to it. It really is very cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
very good
thanks.
job. Nice.
So
Thanks,
glad.
AD.
Yeah, so glad you were able to come to the class and share your painting.
Yeah, and nice signature. I love the signature. Very tasteful.
Thanks, you
Hey,
guys.
we didn't mention that. We didn't mention that you can sign your paintings.
That's true. I totally forgot. Yes, you can sign your paintings, and traditionally it's in the bottom right corner, but you can sign anywhere you want.
Even right in the center, if that's your brand,
Yeah, make it look like a sneaky little moon shadow.
That would be actually really cute. I would really like that. You might need a teeny tiny brush, but you could use a micron pen even.
Oh yeah, that's another great thing. You can use Sharpie if you don't feel confident about your signature. That's one thing I used to do when I was teaching at a sip and paint place, is we would sign them with Sharpie at the end.
Yeah, I almost never would sign anything with paint just because of that. God, you don't want to mess up the signature up, the last piece, you know? So anyway, okay, Mick.
But you did a great job, AD.
Mick, I think we'll go ahead and move to your painting. And then I do see, Erica, you have your hand raised, so I will get over to you in a second.
Yeah, Kate, necessity is the mother of invention. Woo, excuse me, stumbled over that word.
It's late in the day. It's late in the day.
I know. Necessity. Ooh. I'm going to spotlight your painting here for everybody.
Oh, wow. That's so
It
lovely.
looks really great.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I love the interpretation and doing even more moons.
Wow. Yeah, that's great, Mick. And your moons look like, oh my gosh, they look like carved rocks. They're gorgeous. Very nice. And I love the drops and they're almost like floating feathers. It's really interesting. I love your interpretation.
Yeah,
And the
me
color's
too.
really nice. I kind of like that gray, that washed gray, or at least it's coming through washed gray.
Yeah, is it like a green or a gray? I'm having a hard time on the camera seeing.
It's green. It's
Okay,
like
love it.
a foresty green.
Oh, okay.
Very
I
nice.
ended up with extra moons because I put them closer together by accident, and it turned out to be more moons.
I love
Happy
it.
accident. Again, a happy accident.
And then these are like supposed to be leaves, and I'm gonna do some darker leaves by the outside.
Wow,
Love
I
it.
love that. That is so neat. I really like it. And I'm really impressed by the moons. Just they look like a carved wood in a way. It's just really nice how you did your shadows and reflections. Very good job.
I
Cool.
agree. Very, very, very lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mick.
Thanks, Mick.
Okay.
Cool. Wow, you guys did amazing.
Let's see, I'm going to come back up here. Erica, did you do you want to share your painting, or do you just have a question you want to ask? I don't want to promote you to a panelist if you're not interested in sharing video. So just let me know.
Let me know. Let me know.
I love how you just break into song. I will never ever do that because
Me
no
either.
one wants it. But I love it.
Really,
was
I
thinking the same
appreciate
thing.
it. I'm glad you love it because I don't know if I love it about myself. So thank you.
You said something about going easy on yourself, and I'm like, if she breaks into Adele right now, I'm going to just be so
Ooh.
happy.
Ooh,
That's awesome. Is that an Adele song? Go easy on yourself.
Yes.
Oh,
it's her-
yeah,
her
go-
latest. Yeah.
Easy. Yeah, I think I've heard it. Yeah, that's
If
a
you'd be
nice
on
one.
TikTok, you would see it and hear it all the time.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, first I'm going to take the Champaign Public Library seminar on TikTok. Is it like safe usage of TikTok, or just how to
It's a
professionally?
basic introduction
it's
and
just how to, yeah.
yeah.
That's great. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to hear Adele's. That's how I'm going to hear Adele's.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited because I can see right now that we have a group joining us. So
Oh, wow. Hi.
hello. So
Cool.
Erica.
Oh my gosh. Hey.
Okay, there we go. We're on meeting. Okay. And then this, here we go. Hello.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh, how fun.
That looks awesome. Oh my, I love the pop of the royal blue and the pink one. That looks so excellent. And the navy blue on the middle one is so great. And I love this teal turquoise sea foamy color. That's so unique. Very cool.
I love
wow.
seeing all the different colors, but all in these like kind of wonderful pastels.
Yeah, they all look really great together.
Yeah. See, it's a series. Just hang them all up together and people will be like, who painted that?
Kind of cool.
And it's so awesome that you guys got together and did this. That's fun. I love
Yeah,
that.
it's been super fun. Yep, it has. Yeah, it's like a whole crap night. Yeah.
Awesome. Really cool.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you
Wow.
all so much.
Great job.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
There's another person. That's
Who
amazing.
is that?
Hi.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Anyone else interested in sharing their paintings with everybody?
Yeah, I love the group too, Jenny. That's fun.
I know, I think that's what Laura and I have talked about, is the missing of the groups, and then the people coming together when we get to have in person is really what we're excited to get back to.
Yeah.
Not that we don't love this, because we do, and this has been a wonderful tool for us for the last almost 2 years. It seems so.
I'm so glad we were able to continue doing this program, through all of this that's happened. So
Absolutely.
I'm thankful we've been able to do it, but I'm looking forward to mixing it up a little bit too.
I might be a little too late to ask this, but did the library also do like a Zoom tutorial, like the TikTok one?
I think maybe in the
Did
very
we?
beginning, perhaps, or we did
Yeah.
some like we did in the beginning offer a lot more how to use, when it was so new to a lot of people.
Yeah, that's great.
But I think as it progressed and we were realizing we're in this for a bit, people became pretty well versed in Zoom, and so
Yeah, people got used to it faster than they anticipated, I think.
Totally. That's cool. What a great resource the library is. It's amazing. This has
Well,
been
thank you,
such a
Kinsey.
cool opportunity.
I love that. All right, anyone else? We've got a few more minutes. I don't want to force anyone, but
Anybody else? I'm so excited to see all the colors, and every single painting I've seen so far is just like out of this world amazing. So
yeah, and also different. That's like one of my favorite things about this painting that Kinsey decided to teach us is all the different ways that you can do this one concept. So
totally. That's
cool.
cool.
Well, and anyone have any questions, feel free to throw them in our chat as well. I want to tell you about our next Crafty Adults, which will not be until February. So we'll be taking a little end of the year, beginning of the year break. And then we'll start back up in February. And I'm going to teach how to make no-sew scrunchies. So that should be
Wow.
fun. I'll also kind of go over how you might make them if you were going to be sewing, but for the class purpose, I know a lot of people don't have access to a sewing machine or know how to sew. So I want to go over how to do that without needing that skill. So we'll be doing that in February. It will be February 8th, I think. Let me double check on that date. I wrote it down. Yes, February 9th, actually. And then we will open up registration just like always on the 1st of the month. So 1st of February. So if you don't see any Crafty Adults updates in the next month, don't worry, you're not missing anything. We're just taking a little pause while we recalibrate and get ready for our in-person events for this workshop. So I hope that you all will sign up for the next one or watch any of our webinars that we have recorded or take advantage of. Most of y'all have a little card for Creative Bug. In the meantime, we do subscribe to a database that allows you to watch craft and art tutorials from artists across the country. So I'd encourage you to look into that as well if you need a little crafting in your life. We also have that available. And if you have a Champagne card or an Urbana card, you can use that resource. So it's a great one.
Laura, we had one question that came in from AD that was,
Yeah.
since acrylic doesn't wash out well, can you paint onto clothing and have it stay intact after washing?
Do you have experience with that, Kinsey? I say like it's kind of a mixed bag there. It's like yes and no. I mean, fabric paint exists for a reason because you can wash and dry it. I have paint on clothes that's been there for years through washing and drying it, but it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
So I can't say like I painted a wonderful sunset on the back of a denim jacket and it stayed on there forever. I'm not sure.
And I do know that my daughter would paint her Chucks shoes and with acrylic, and it would stay on fairly well as far as again, we didn't throw them in the wash machine or anything.
Same.
I'm fairly certain, but don't quote me on it. You can look it up. I'm fairly certain there's a medium that you can add into acrylic paint so that you can paint onto fabric with it and have it actually bind to the fabric. I'm pretty sure. What you'll notice about acrylic paint on clothing is if it's a thicker piece, you can't peel it off sometimes because it's plastic. So you have that option, but if it's just like a little thin, you've grazed on your t-shirt, that's not going to peel off. It's more like if you have a bubble. I don't know if that makes sense, but
totally.
And if anybody has questions like this and you want more in-depth answers, please, as Laura mentioned, our info@champaign.org librarian email, that will go to our reference librarians, and we are happy to dig into those kinds of questions and do research. That is why we're here, one of many reasons why we're here, and we enjoy doing that.
Yes, and there are no silly questions, so ask away. Okay, well, I feel like we're coming to a close. I think we're kind of winding down. I know we've got some folks have already even left for the evening. So, thank you, Ada. Thank you all for coming. I'm gonna add Kinsey back up here. Oh, let's see. I need to remove another. Here's Kinsey. So I just want to say thank you to Kinsey for teaching our workshop today.
Thank you.
Kinsey, do you have any place if people want to follow along with your art and what you're doing, they can, or is that something you're interested in?
Oh, sure. Yes, I will write in the chat. My Instagram is just my name and my last name, Kinsey Fitzgerald. So feel free to follow me there. It's mostly, I am transitioning to an art profile, but for now it's kind of a mix of personal and art. So feel free to follow along there for my ceramics and paintings and other creative endeavors that I jump into.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming this evening.
Thank you.
Absolutely loved painting with you all this evening. So with that, we will say happy painting. Enjoy making all your happy painting accidents that turn into wonderful masterpieces. So stay tuned for the next Crafty Adults, and check our library calendar if you want to see any of our other events that we'll be hosting. Pretty much always have a full calendar, and we've got, I think, something for everybody. So take care, everybody, and good night.
Good night.